The Indian aviation industry is going through a massive change as it tries to reduce the control that United States companies have held over its market for years. For a long time, India depended almost entirely on American plane makers like Boeing for its passenger jets and transport aircraft. This created a risky situation where the country relied on just one nation for its most important travel equipment. Now, the government and private companies are shifting their focus toward partners who are willing to do more than just sell finished products. They want partners who will share technology and build factories right here in India. This serves as the foundation for the new and growing cooperation between India and Russia in the commercial aviation sector. The most important new steps in this partnership involve Russian aircraft that use only Russian engines and systems. At the Wings India 2026 event, this partnership became official and public. A Russian company called United Aircraft Corporation signed a solid contract with an Indian startup named Flamingo Aerospace. This deal is for 6 Il-114-300 turboprop planes, and they are scheduled to start arriving in 2028. This is a big deal because it is not just about buying planes but about bringing a modern Russian passenger aircraft into the Indian fleet for the first time in decades. The Il-114-300 is a 64-seat plane powered by two Klimov engines that are fully designed and made in Russia. During the demonstrations at Wings India 2026, this aircraft showed that it can handle Indian conditions perfectly. It performed well in high temperatures and on short runways, which is exactly what India needs for connecting smaller cities. This plane is aimed directly at regional routes that are currently flown by ATR-72s. The key difference is that the Russian plane does not have any American parts or licensing. This means India can fly these planes without worrying about permission or supplies from the West. At the same time, there is a much bigger project in the works involving the Sukhoi Superjet 100, also known as the SJ-100. Hindustan Aeronautics Limited is in serious talks with Russian partners to assemble and eventually manufacture this jet inside India. The SJ-100 is a larger regional jet that can carry up to 100 passengers. The new version of this plane uses a Russian engine called the PD-8. This engine was built to replace an older French-Russian engine that could no longer be used because of international sanctions. Because the new SJ-100 uses Russian electronics and materials, it does not rely on Western suppliers at all. Making these planes in India is a major part of how the two countries are coming together. If HAL produces the SJ-100 locally, it will support the government's UDAN scheme to connect regional airports. It will also create thousands of skilled jobs for Indian engineers and factory workers. This collaboration allows India to learn how to build complex aircraft systems, which is knowledge that can be used for future projects. India is also working on its own plane called the Regional Transport Aircraft. This is an 80 to 100 seat plane being designed by National Aerospace Laboratories. The plan is for HAL to manufacture it, with the first flights expected in the late 2020s or 2030s. This project is prioritizing engines that are not from the US to ensure India has full control over the supply chain. The experience India gains from working with Russia on the SJ-100 and Il-114-300 will be very useful for this homegrown project. There are strong reasons why India is choosing to work so closely with Russia now. The first reason is the need for full access to technology. When India buys American planes, Indian engineers are often not allowed to modify or repair the inner systems. It is like buying a black box that you are not allowed to open. The partnership with Russia is different because it allows India to gain intellectual property and learn how to design these systems. This fits perfectly with the Make in India initiative. Another reason is safety and cost. Relying too much on American suppliers leaves India vulnerable if there are political disagreements or sanctions that stop the flow of spare parts. By working with Russia, India ensures that its airlines can keep flying even if global politics get complicated. Also, American aircraft often come with very expensive maintenance contracts and parts that must be bought with dollars. Manufacturing and repairing planes locally with Russian help will reduce downtime and keep money within the Indian economy. These moves show a smart strategic change. The deals for the IL-114-300 and the SJ-100 challenge the dominance of Western companies in the regional market. India needs hundreds of new aircraft over the next 10 years, and diversifying its suppliers is the only safe way to grow. By choosing Russian platforms that are proof against sanctions, India reduces its vulnerability to US-influenced supply chains. This is not a total break from Boeing or Airbus, as Indian airlines are still buying their planes too. However, it is a deliberate move to have backups and alternatives. In civil aviation, these Russian partnerships are laying the groundwork for a future where India has more power, lower costs, and the ability to stand on its own feet.